Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and today we have the new Gunsmoke boss that has released for Girls Frontline 2, so I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at it and all his mechanics. He's a little bit more complex than the previous one, where the main thing with the previous one was just cleansing his buff and making sure you have the 6 units to get hit to get the defense debuff on him. And so let's just go ahead and go in here and take a look at him. And so this new one is the Nemertea Exenotype boss. Now, you're going to have a similar situation with him like the other one, where he really doesn't do enough damage for me to worry too much about healing per se. But there is a little bit more in his mechanics that you want to deal with, where actually having a sustain or someone that can do cleansing on your own team members for debuffs is going to be quite important. So let's just go ahead and look at his entire kit here. So here are all the mechanics in him. So let's just go through each of the skills and kind of what you're going to have to think about when it comes to dealing with it. So you have the first one here, Acid Expansion. Deals AoE physical damage equal to 80% attack to all enemy units within 5 tiles. So he does some damage to everyone. If 5 or more enemy targets are hit, Nemertea takes 10 points of fixed stability damage. So this one's a nice one little right here, in that you don't need Papa-Shah specifically for this one, because it's only 5 units, which you can have without Papa-Shah on the field. So that's going to be an easy 10 points of stability damage that you can do if you have them in range to take a hit from this attack. While in Stability Break, target the furthest and closest enemies, dealing physical damage equal to 100% attack and knocking them back by 1 tile instead. And that one's going to kind of be important for certain team comps, like if you're dealing with like a Macchiato, for example. This is going to be a case where you're going to want her to be in one of those positions so that she is getting to do her counter against the enemy. So something to think about there. So that's kind of the first mechanic you have to deal with there, is just having your 5 units in the area to deal that extra stability damage there. But then you have this one. This is a kind of a unique one that's got kind of a different mechanic that's been added. So you have Festering Spittle. This one selects the enemy targets with the highest HP and the lowest HP, dealing AoE corrosion damage equal to 60% of the attack, and ignores cover to them and all enemy units within a 3x3 area, and applies digestive saliva for 2 turns. At the same time, it generates swamp for 4 turns. So this one is unique with this digestive saliva debuff that you get added to your team. So this one is damage is taken is increased by 20%. And realistically, I've already messed around with them, kind of been testing them out. It's negligible. I mean, I really don't see taking damage it's kind of similar to the last boss, in that I haven't felt threatened to my team members actually dying in this. So unless you have somebody like Macchiato, where you at least want to make sure her shield doesn't break, this may become a little bit of an issue. But other than that, I haven't found any issue with that. But then again, this is stackable. Last 2 turns, debuff if cleansed. All ally units stack 1 stack of Saliva Dipped for 2 turns. And what Saliva Dipped is attacks ignore 5% of the target's defense. This affects stacks. This buff cannot be cleansed. And so this one is where you're going to want to cleanse your units. And this is something I've been kind of messing around with in the game to kind of see how I want to approach dealing with it. The biggest thing is he targets the lowest and highest HP units within your team. So you're going to want to pay attention to their HP. This attack puts it on a 3x3 area, meaning you want to try and get this on all of your teammates so they all get this debuff, for the fact that you can then cleanse it to get yourself this stacking buff right here, which is a 5% defense ignore. So with this, you can kind of start stacking a lot of defense ignore within your whole team, versus just a couple units based on that 3x3 area. So you're going to want to keep your team members nice and tight together, at least 2 groups of them, one with your lowest HP and one with your highest HP, and then kind of just play it off that. And then at the same time, it generates swamp tiles for 4 turns, which on those inflicts putrefaction to the enemy units that remain within the area at the end of their action, lasting 1 turn, considered a corrosion tile. And what that does is mobility is reduced by 2 tiles at the end of action. Take fixed damage equal to 50% of his attack. I'm not too worried about the attack. The mobility is the one area you kind of have to play around if you're going to be sitting in it, simply for the fact that you might need to move your team members around so that you can get in range of each other to deal with that. So this one's a little bit tricky, and I've been kind of just messing around with my own teams, figuring out how to best work with that. Then we have his other skills here. We have Created Split. Randomly summon 1 flesh vine within 2 to 5 tiles of this unit. And so this one is stands by for 1 turn after being born, then acts normally after that, which means it's going to start doing your damage. I haven't found these to be an issue at all, but I've been borrowing, like, I use a Klukai in every single one of my teams. With Klukai's AoE, these have not been, like, they're not a threat at all. You easily can maneuver her around to deal with those as they come. Then you have Howl of the Hunt. This one deals AoE physical damage that ignores cover equal to 100% attack to all enemies. This is the one part where Papa Shot is still going to be useful. For every 3 targets hit, so with Papa Shot you can make it 6 targets there, so you can get 2 of these. Gains 1 stack of trepidation for 1 turn. Defense is reduced by 20%, stacking up to 3 times. This debuff cannot be cleansed. So this is a way that you can get all 3 stacks of this if you have a Papa Shot, because in 1 turn you can get 2 stacks and thus get it all the way to 3 by the end of the game. So this one is making it where Papa Shot is still useful to us in that aspect. So we have that one. And then we have this one here, Membrane Hardening. This is one of his passives. When stability index is greater than 0, reduce damage taken by 80%. So stability breaking him is going to be quite important. Unable to receive stability restoration effects. So this is just that standard. You can't restore his stability when he's stability broken, and it just lasts for 2 turns when broken. And then the last one here, Unstable Structure passive. When subjected to an active attack from an enemy Dal, if the attacking Dal has 3 or more buffs, Nemertea Exilium type gains 1 stack of relaxation and up to a maximum of 15 stacks. So this is something that you're going to want to try and get as many buffs, at least 3 buffs on all of your Dals, so you can start racking up the stacks of relaxation. So at the start of the action, convert this into an equal number of fragile membrane stacks for 1 turn. Damage taken is increased by 2%, stacking up to 15 times. So you're going to want to get as many buffs on your team with this one. And so as you can see, there's a lot more mechanics at play with them. And so it's going to make it a little bit more tricky when building your teams to try and take advantage of all of them. Now, I have found so far, just with my testing, I'm easily, even if I'm making mistakes, easily getting into the 4K range on points if I bring a S or a V6 Klukai alongside me and then just kind of play around the mechanics as best as possible to do as much damage as I can. But you're ultimately, the big thing is you want to have the ability to cleanse your team. Whole team cleanses are really good. So like Cinerisi is really good in that aspect. You have like the whole burn team is overall really good on this boss. Like this boss is like extremely weak to burn. The burn team in general, it's kind of designed around them. So you have the cleansing you want to have. You want to have the 6 members, so Papa Shah can be important for that, getting defense reductions. And then also in putting buffs on your own team, because those buffs are going to make it where you can generate the stacks on him. Now, you have all these different mechanics. The way I see it, though, when it comes to building a teams, especially if you're free to play and you don't have near as many units as me, you don't have to really worry about every single mechanic on him. Just try and exploit as many of it as you can to just maximize the damage across multiple teams. Like in my platoon, we do all 3 of the hits, so we have the starting 2 and then the 3rd one. And even me, I have every single unit in the game, and it's still kind of a pain to build the teams. So I'm still been messing around with how I want to play them. Kind of today is like that first day to kind of figure out the best teams and utilizing them. I have built up my teams on the formation for him a little bit here. As you can kind of see here, I have my burn team, which I originally was going to take Macchiato, but I've decided against that because bringing in Cinerisi is more important because of the cleansing. So I actually will use the full burn team of QJ, Sharkly, Cinerisi, and Vector, alongside a borrowed Klukai in this fight. My ice team, I'm going in with my Macchiato, Dush, Suomi, and then on this one, I'm debating on whether this one's going to be my Klukai, bring my own Klukai, borrow a Peridia. But then I have the other one down here where I may borrow a Klukai, utilize my Peridia, and this is kind of my generic corrosion damage team that'll have Papa Shah with them to do the extra damage from having 6 units there. And so right now, that is like my 3 teams I'm looking at now. Now you can kind of mix and match these as needed. Cinerisi you can replace with Senia. And they're actually maybe used to some other units that I haven't really covered much at all if you want to really go into the cleansing. This one you could maybe, if you've actually put in the effort and time, maybe you can take someone like Colfine who I believe Colfine has cleanses in her as well if you want to deal with those. So just know this might be a little bit tricky still on building teams to take into consideration all of those mechanics, as there's just so many that you have to deal with that you're not gonna it's gonna be very hard to do all of these perfect. But yeah, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the fight here. After editing my video after the fact, I realized I made a huge mistake, and that was that I used my refitting room settings when I built my team in the video there. So one thing you're going to want to make sure you do here is go to here up in the top and actually select the loadouts that you have set up for your teams here. So I have my burn team right here. I should have selected this when I picked out them for the fight. So one thing that it kind of screwed me on was that I did move some of my common keys and stuff from Klukai over to QJ and kind of adjusted some of my other burn team members. So I actually had a slight damage decrease because of that. Luckily, I'm still fairly good on the points, and I didn't recognize it because it's not a significant difference, but it easily could have been probably a couple hundred or a few hundred points that I lost by using the wrong settings. So just make sure that when you're building your teams that you select the loadout that you have built here. But yeah, let's go ahead now and get into the fight. All right, we're going to go into the fight here. So we'll go to start combat. So the first team that I want to go with, so you have your buffs up here. The big one is for the burn team. This is like heavily designed around your burn team. So you have heat boost here. That's the one I'm going to go with. Heat recovery you can usually get on a majority of your team members. So with that, I'm going to be bringing my full entire burn team on this one. So we're going to go with there. And then where is she? Sharkfree right there. For some reason, I always mix up. Like, they look very similar on this. I just mix up Sharkfree and Suomi all the time on this. And for my support, I'm going to bring the V6 Klukai we have in our platoon. If your platoon has a V6 Klukai, this is a good opportunity to bring them as well. I've got this person's crazy. They V6 everybody up here. Have a V6 Vector now. But it's not worth it, in my opinion, to borrow the V6 Vector since I have a V1 Vector. For the simple fact is, I'm only going to have one burn team, and Vector really is only good in burn. So borrowing the V6 Vector here would mean that my own Vector is a waste. It's actually a lot better for me to borrow the V6 Klukai just for the extra damage, and she also puts extra defense reduction on the enemy, which is always good. So this is the team I'm going to go with. We have heat recovery here, so let's just go ahead and get into the fight. And it's going to be just like the other boss. He's going to have his standard rotation and then basically rinse and repeat once you get through it. So we don't have to watch the entire fight here. Now, this one I don't have Papa Shaw, so I'm not going to be able to take advantage of getting the maximum of that one mechanic with the stacks, where you have 6 members taking the hits. It puts 2. You can put 2 stacks on them, which then it can go up to 3 towards the end. So I am losing that, but this one does have my Cinerisi, so I can get a mass cleanse on my team. So we have that. And it's a complete burn team. We're going to be doing as much burn damage as we can to him. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, like I'm saying, this is probably not going to be the perfect, because this is my first. I've done a couple go-aheads on him to get an idea of how I want to position my people. But don't expect to be perfect on it every time. There is going to be, you'll make mistakes and all that. One of the big things is, as long as you're getting into like that 4K plus range when it comes to your points, that's good enough for your platoon overall, especially if you're doing that consistently amongst all 3 of your hits. Your platoon easily gets into the top 5%. Which is all that's needed to maximize the rewards here. And then the platoon gets the same amount of XP per hit. So no harm, no foul if you're not perfect on this. But you do want to try and get as much damage as you can, especially if you're one of those competitive types in that aspect. So we go here. We have my Klukai. We have Sharkfree, Vector. So let's see how we want to approach this. So the first thing I like to do is, because Vector has that defense reduction on there, I always like to get that out of the way first. But let's look at his first moves here. So on his first move, he is going to do the digestive saliva attack. And so this is going to be one where you're going to want to immediately get all your team members together so that you can cleanse it. And then you have this one up here, which is going to do a knockback. So you want to make sure you keep all your people close. I just like to try and get everyone up nice and tight against him. I find that works kind of the best for him. So let's just go here. Now, he's not going to get near as much damage on these rounds because, as you know, he has the 80% damage reduction. So this is more of a setup phase for me. But you will be able to knock his stability damage down really quickly with the burn team, as you're going to learn here. So let's go ahead and... Oh, her turn's done there. And so I think for this one, we actually want to go with Vector first. Get her ultimate there. No, actually, I want to go with QJ here first. So I can get my... And then I go with Common Rail. Now, this team is not going to be able to trigger all of QJ's support actions with Vector. So it is going to be a little tricky in that aspect because I'm not going to be able to pull off doing all 6 of them, which is one thing that's really, really tough currently. If I would have brought my Macchiato, it may have been a little bit easier, and I'll probably try doing that tomorrow. But in this case, this move is actually a good one to use versus just that one because I'm not going to be able to take complete advantage of all of the damage here. So this gets her an extra attack herself on them, which I think is going to be good, especially for that first round, so we can get more stability damage out. And it's going to be important to get Senorisi doing her support actions as well, so that we can build up her Confectance Index here. So we'll go up with that one. And let's see. Then from there, Sharkery already... think is good to go in doing her. She's in range, and since I have her V6, she already starts with that zoom in stacks that I want, so we are good to just bring her up in here. Let's go ahead and do the ultimate. Light this whole place on fire, and then I think we want to go with the second one first, skill 2 first for that. Put that smolder impact on them. Yeah, upon taking burn damage, generates incineration. Inflicts burn weakness. Yeah, so this one's the more important one, I think, to go with first. And then the second one will be good. Yeah, so we'll go with that. Senorisi will fire. She's going to fire. And this is just where I love the burn team. Just non-stop lighting the guy up. Okay. So have that. Then I think the strats bring you in nice and tight here. Get you more zoom-in stacks. And then go in with your burn damage here. And they just all keep shooting. It just is crazy. I love the burn team. And then we'll go in here. We've already knocked him out of that impact. So we're good here. As you can see, the damage has gone up quite a bit here. Now, the one thing that kind of sucks is, and this will be better in the future, is when Sharkery gets her expansion key, she'd actually have additional support actions she can do with Vector. So that'll be something we'll be getting in the future as well, which will be really nice. All right, I have them nice and tight here. Okay, got all of them hit. Missed Vector. Yeah, it missed Vector since she took the hit. I didn't time it correctly. I forgot with the knockback. I forgot that she's going to get knocked back. And so, I mean, it is what it is. I would have preferred it would have been QJ getting hit so they all get hit. But Vector's not like the main damage dealer, so I'm not going to be too concerned about that. But I have all of them having that debuff here, so that's always good. And so from here, let's see, what are the attacks that he does here? So he's going to summon the Flesh Vine on this turn, not a big deal. This is the one where you want everybody to get hit, so you can get Trepidation. That's good. And this one is, this is where he takes more stability damage, which we already have him in Stability Break. So that's really not going to matter, I don't believe, here. But it is good that we have everybody. I just keep everybody in range. It's really not going to matter here. And so let's just put her in the fire. And go with the ultimate here. So she's ready to go. And then just take you, kind of go back and forth. I mean, just having Klukai makes it so much easier, because you just do so much damage with a borrowed Klukai. It kind of makes up for mistakes in the first place. Let's give you see, we're on turn 2. We're already at 1,300 points easy. Now, the big thing is she needs one more to do hers. So I think what we want to go with here is attack with that. So Senorisi does a support action. Now we have the advantage of being able to take her and do the cleanse. Yeah, I'll make sure everybody's gonna get it. Yep. Cleanse everybody. Get them those stacks. And then as you can see, Saliva dipped 4 stacks. Attacks ignore 5% of the target's defensive effects. So we basically gave ourselves 4 stacks of it there with that nice cleanse. And that's why I wanted the Cinerisi to do our support action after that. So we have that. I think we've done everybody except Vector in this situation. Oops. Switch the Vector. Go in with her attack here. And I believe that's all we're going to do on this turn. The burn team just keep on shooting. Okay, so then we have the vine here. Hits everybody. And he just restored his stability, which kind of sucks on the timing there on the stability since that 10 damage didn't really do much. So we have this. So we do have it where it's going to do this stability damage on this one as well. And then he's going to put more of those saliva stacks. So this is another one. It's basically now rinse and repeat. We're going to want to get all of our team members within close proximity. And so now we actually have damage on them. So this is where it's going to be tricky. And this is where you might want to keep your rewinds ready to go in case you make a mistake here. Because as you remember, this says highest and lowest HP. And is this one? This one's not the one. Yeah, so this one he's not. We'll have to see. If he's in stability break, that's where the problem was on that first turn. He was in stability break, so he knocked him back. If he's not in stability break, that's actually going to be better for us, simply because it'll do the stability damage, hopefully break him, and then put it on all of our members. So we kind of have to time it, depending on where we're going to be at. So let's see here. We'll start with QJ. QJ right there is a good spot. Now, you can look at their health and kind of get an idea. I think Cinerisi is my highest or lowest HP right now. Because it's HP, it's not percentage, right? Yeah, highest HP and lowest. So let's see. She has 3156. Okay, so it looks like Sharkry actually has... Sharkry has the most. So I want 2 people on her sides. And then lowest looks to be Klukai, maybe? 2709. Yeah, okay. So Klukai has the lowest here. So I will actually... And I need to hit this guy. Oh, this is a tricky one. He has it in a really bad placing. I think we're good to do it this way. Yep. Now I just got to think of my positioning for putting her. This is the hardest part, is positioning. If you really want to min-max these stacks. And this is where it can get really tedious and time-consuming, from my opinion. Okay, and then we're going to go down here. I think that's how we want it. Actually, maybe right here. So that way... That way I can put Sharkry right here. Nope, and that. Sharkry right here. Go ahead and attack. They do so many support actions. It's very hard to tell if we're gonna... I think we may end up breaking them, which is then gonna cause some problems. But I think we'll be good. All right, so 2709, 3162. Oh, did I screw up already? Yeah, I already did screw up. I actually need to put everybody... This is actually going to screw QJ here, because she's not the... This is my highest and lowest right next to each other. So actually, I'm going to go back here. I actually should move her right here. I believe, yeah. We don't want QJ missing this buff. Okay, we have that. Oh, did I not even do QJ's turn? Yeah, this is where it can get tricky because you're always trying to figure out where to go. Okay. Okay, use that attack there. This is where I say, you're going to make mistakes. And you don't need to be perfect. I'm already at 2,000 points. I'm only on turn 3. And this is going to be really tedious if you try and perfect this every single time. So, don't worry about little bit of mistakes here and there. Just use your couple of rewinds if needed. But other than that, just kind of roll with whatever you get. Okay, so we should be good to move you here next to Klukai. Yeah, we're definitely breaking them. It's going to cause some problems. I think it's going to. We'll see. Yeah, he's going to be broken right here. But it is what it is. Let's see how it plays out. Oh, she knocked... Oh, it actually... There we go. Hits Klukai. Hit Sharkery. Perfect. Alright, it worked perfectly. I got all of them there. And that was the important part here. And now Senarisi, she needs 3 Confectants Index, so we may not be able to debut or cleanse it this turn. Which kind of sucks. But we'll be able to cleanse it on the next turn and get a crap ton of buffs. And so we'll go from here. At this point, it's basically rinse and repeat at this time. You want to keep them all within range. They get Trepidation. And then you'll have the Fleshy Vine get here. And then he's going to do this one. Since he is in Stability Break, he's going to do the Knockback. But this one doesn't matter as much because we don't need them all be in range. So I'm just going to go ahead. You don't need them all next to each other, so we can just move around at this point. Do as much damage as you can. But as you can see, with regards to their health, it's not an issue at all. Now, we're on turn 4, and Klukai's getting a little low, but I think she should be good. Worst case, we can have Senarisi help out on that heal when we do this. So, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Okay, so actually, let's not move her yet. QJ, go here. Just go with Ultimate. Sharky, go here. And then, let's see. We'll go with Vector next here. I just like to get nice and tight on the boss, just like the previous boss. I just sit up right on top of them. It don't really matter. Now, one of the things that I haven't really been paying attention to, which I probably should have been, is kind of the buffs. Where if you have 3 or more buffs, you're putting those other stacks on here. I haven't really paid attention to that one because there's so many things you're trying to do at once when it comes to min-maxing this. But if you look here, where is it? Where is that debuff? Is it... Yeah, you have like this one, that one without that's her dot. Where is the other one that he gets? But the one where you do, yeah, relaxation here. So he has 5 stacks of this relaxation, where then he gets that fragile. I haven't been paying attention to this one too much, but as you can see, we're getting the stacks on there. You can probably min-max these a little bit, but as long as you're kind of focusing on your buffs, on your teammates, you're going to be getting a decent amount of stacks on there. As you can see, my score is already pretty good. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to min-max all these things, unless you're one of those people that's like, I've got to have the perfect score, or you're trying to get a kill. But so I'm pretty sure I probably could have adjusted this a little bit to take advantage of that a little bit more, but it's not worth the driving myself crazy over. Okay, this one we just go for attacks. We can get some more support actions going. forgot they... Okay. And then as you can see here... Where is it? Yeah, so they still have that we need to remove. So let's see. Does Cinerisi... Cinerisi needs the one more to do it. So let's first take care of this with Klukai. My Klukai actually needs health. I think maybe I was standing on corrosion. I wasn't really paying attention there. I probably was standing where I wasn't supposed to. Okay, we have that. That should be good for there. And QJ. Go with that attack. That one. I probably should have went with Sharky first there, but that's fine. I can do this. This will be a good heal, cleansing anybody that has any of the debuffs still. I forgot that it self-cleanses on the other one, but it's not that big a deal. This one will be good. Or should I just hold on to it? I think she's fine for now. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that for now. Since everybody looks to have cleansed it from the other mechanics that I have. So they have already taken advantage of it. Because we're going to get another one right here. And shoot. Yeah, so QJ... See, I didn't kind of keep track of it, but they're going to be the ones that get hit with it. Or it might be Vector here. I've already screwed that one up, but it's fine. I'm at 3,600 points. Alright, we'll just go there. And there. I'm going to say, if I try and min-max this, I'm going to spend an hour or two a day trying to do this thing. But Klukai got hit with it, which is an important one that gets hit. I did not want Cinerisi to get hit. She got knocked back, so QJ did not get it there. I mean, it is what it is. It's only a little bit damage reduction there. Okay, so let's just immediately heal the field. Cleanse that debuff on that. At least my Klukai got it. Still doing 25. Yeah, still getting some big hits on him here. And we have... I mean, he's got so much health, though. But yeah, I'm still going to get over 4,000 easy. We are on turn 6. Go with QJ. We can put the main ultimate one down again. Hit him again here. And we're just basically hammering him with everything we got here. We get one more turn on it. I'm not going to worry about that too much since we only get one more turn. It's just all about doing damage here. And he came out of stability break, so this one's not even going to be that strong anyway. But I'll get him under 50%, so... And I don't think this is actually going to be my strongest team. I think my Corrosion team may actually be able to push him a little bit farther. Okay, then you... Go with you. And then the final attack. And that is pretty much it there. I didn't really pay attention to it there because it wasn't that big a deal. And we finished off pretty decent score here at 43-65. And that is the boss. And like I've said multiple times through there, I definitely did not play it perfectly. And I will continue to fine-tune it through the week. So maybe if I can get them really far down, I'll save that recording and kind of upload that one as in like, hey, here's a better way you can approach it. But overall, I mean, if you can get into the 4,000s, it's not that big a deal. Now, I do have people, I don't know if this is a kill, but if you look at my platoon, these are some of my whales within my platoon. They're getting into the 5,000s now, which, so I don't know if this is an actual kill or not, but they're getting them fairly low on health. But they have like V6s of everything. And so they haven't got that much more than me. And they've V6'd like all their stuff. And so if you can see, I mean, this person's, I think, my biggest whale. And so they got like total in this first day, like 15,000. Don't expect that if you're free to play. It's unrealistic if you don't have like V6 unit with the V6 or R6 weapons. But as you can see, even with that, and like a good chunk of my platoon has not even done it yet. Like we still have a good chunk of people that haven't done it, and we're still easily in the top 1% under 49. Now I have, like I said, I have the whales, but if you're even a complete free-to-play platoon and you're doing that, you're still going to easily, if you go to top 100 here, you're still going to be able to get into this. And even if you're not in the top 100 or the 1%, you'll still get the top 5%, which is maximum wards ultimately anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the new boss. That's kind of the first look. But yeah, if you like my content, if you like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.